Lukins from Dagens Nyheter in Sweden. I have a question for Renée. Obviously, you've only been in charge for Arsenal over a brief period of time. Can you tell me a little bit about your feelings about being here in the Champions League final and what you think that means for you and for the club?
Very proud, and I'm very happy for so many people. Is that me? Yeah, so very happy for so many people because, as I said, I've only been at the club for 1.5, 2 years now, but taking a club to a Champions League final is so much work, and that work is done over time. So I think a lot of people should be proud, working in the background, but I am proud as well because I think what we've done as a team, and looking at, we started the mini tournament early in the season, which didn't start easy, and then we take ourselves into the group stage, and there's some challenging games there as well, and some good opposition. But I think for me the key moment was the second leg against Bayern at home, where we show so much as a team. I think we've always known, and the players know themselves as well, that we're a very good team, we're a very good football team. But that was for me a key moment where I saw that we could win games in different ways, and we could find ways to win. So that was such a special moment, and I think from there on the team has shown so much investment and engagement, and I think everything you see coming together, if you take the example of the second leg against Lyon, everything that comes together in that game, it's a lot of work and investments from the players. So it's all about what they do in the training week. It's not about coming in, going out on the pitch and go get a shower and go home. There's so much more they do, and I think that investment, that engagement, wanting to problem solve, wanting to go to the next level, wanting to challenge things, I think that's what's been the best thing for me, to be part of this team. And I think that's why the players are here at this stage right now, ready to play a Champions League final tomorrow.
Hi, a question for Alessia, please. Does it feel like Arsenal are sort of back where they should be at this sort of grand European stage? There's so much rich history in the club. It's obviously been a while since they've been on this stage, but does it feel right to be here?
Yeah, 100%. I think that any player that plays for Arsenal or comes to play for Arsenal understands that it's a winning club, and it's a club that is so ambitious and wants to be at the top, competing with the best. So I feel like absolutely this is where we want the club to be, and this is what we'll keep pushing as players and as a group of all of us together. And we're very aware of what's come before us as well. Obviously Kim's played for the club for so long, and she deserves to be here. And we also had lunch with some of the 2007 winners previously in the week, and to understand how much it still means to them, and how much they still feel a part of this club is really special for us current players.
One in the middle. In the blue shirt.
Hi Renée, I wanted to ask about Barcelona don't lose many games, but perhaps the Real Madrid and Manchester City defeats they had this season. Potential blueprint there, and one of the things in common in both those games was I think they're the least accurate pass accuracy they've had of the season. So I wanted to ask about the importance of bravery, because you're not going to have the ball for a lot of the game tomorrow, but being brave both out of possession in possession, and not just kind of sitting back in a deep block.
Yeah, so we want to show courage tomorrow. Like I've said before, we respect Barcelona as a team. They're a really, really good football team. So we're very humble for the occasion, but also we are here to win. And we have to find ways to win. And I am convinced that the game will shift in momentum. And for us, it's going to be important that we deal with all moments really, really well in the game. So we need courage, we need discipline, we need to be switched on. We're going to have to make a lot of decisions on the pitch. So if you do that really well, I think we can perform really well tomorrow in the game, and we have a belief in our capacity tomorrow.
One in the middle here.
Is it possible to do it in Dutch, the question? No. Renée, question for you. Is Daphne van Domselaar ready to start tomorrow? And how big of a difference would that be defensively, since you have conceded quite a lot of goals the last games?
So we have a great squad, and we have a lot of players available. So the only player not available for tomorrow will be Rosa Kafaji, and all the other players will be available to play tomorrow.
And when would you choose for them?
At the back.
Hi, Andreas Hagen, NRK Sport in Norway. I want to ask Alessia Russo about Frida Månem. She had the collapse 1 year ago, but is now back, even stronger. How will you describe the way she handled the situation coming forward until this final?
Yeah, obviously that was a really tough moment for us as a team to see one of your players go through something like that. But I think Frida's resilience and also just how she is as a player in general is just, yeah, incredible. Her work rate is one of the best that I've ever played with, and she never stops running. So I think, yeah, it's not nice to see a teammate go through that, but how she's overcome it and how she's performed this season consistently and been available and yeah, she's a top player and a really great person to have in the team as well.
Question for Kim. Hi, Kim. As the first player who's going to be captaining Arsenal in a Champions League final since they reached that final in 2007, what does it mean to you to be at this point, particularly when you consider all those nearly moments and, for example, that semi-final against Wolfsburg where Arsenal was so close given all those injuries that they had?
Yeah, it's obviously incredibly special to be here and to be in the final tomorrow. I think, like Alessia spoke about around the history of our club and what they achieved, in 2007, and also all the club's done throughout that time to really progress with the game and to be one of the driving forces to push women's football forward. It's obviously so special to be here and to lead the club in this really special occasion.
One here.
So a question for Alessia, Anna Ryden from Swedish Aftonbladet. When you did your stadium tour right now, the big screens were turned off, but when Barcelona entered, it said 1-0 on the scoreboard to Arsenal. Beth Mead is going to score in the 17th minute, according to that one. What do you think about that, and what kind of game are you expecting tomorrow?
I'm sure Beth will love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the game that we're expecting tomorrow, I think we know that Barcelona are a top side. They have won on the highest level consistently, and we're well aware of that. But I have full belief in us as a team, the journey that we've been on, and some of the performances that we've put in this season. We know what we're capable of. We've been working really hard this week, and we've also enjoyed it as well, enjoyed being in a major final with your teammates that you work so hard with every day. So we're all really excited and prepared, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
One here, please. Third row. Okay, then the next one here, please.
This one for Renée. Earlier this week, I spoke with Alessia, and she was talking about how you've really helped her and you've instilled a lot more belief in her personally since you took over. You said that, didn't you? Double checking. Do you feel like it's fair to say that you've done that with the whole squad over the course of the season to help get to this final?
Who am I to stand here and say that? So you have to ask those players. But what we've tried to achieve is to create a really good environment for the players to perform and show belief in everyone and empower people and see everyone's strengths as much as possible. so that's what we've tried to do. But it's not only me, and I think I've said it just there. But I think that's been one active choice from my side to try to empower and see the best in everyone. But I think it also happened organically in the environment that we were in with all staff and players. And that was the beautiful process we were in, that was happening organically. And that's been really good for us. And yeah, I'm really happy that we got the best out of the players. Also saying there's so much more to give as well in a lot of players. So yeah, no, really well done. So there's been a big, huge ownership piece and a lot of accountability on the player side, and they've done that so well.
Yeah.
Just a question for Kim. Can you kind of sum up how this Champions League journey has been? Renée alluded to it a little bit. Obviously, starting in the mini tournament, you came back against Real Madrid, came back against Lyon. I mean, how much confidence does the fact that you've been there from the very start and you've got some big results? How much is that going to give you going into the game tomorrow? Because most people are probably thinking Barcelona are the favourites.
Yeah, it's obviously been an incredible journey. I think we can all say with a lot of ups and downs. I think there's been some performances that haven't been as good as we want, but also some incredible performances from the team. Obviously, especially our second legs in both the quarterfinals and semi-finals. So yeah, we just have, like we've spoke about, so much belief in each other and what we can achieve. And we know when, we all work together and do things, and we connect in that way, we can have a performance like we had in those two games that I spoke about. So we've done all the work this week to put ourselves in the best position to be able to do that, and we can't wait to do that tomorrow.
Hi guys, Vicky Sparks from 5 Live here. Can I just pick up on a similar theme with Alessia? In terms of the Lyon result, I think everyone knew that the tie was still in the balance when you went to France in the second leg, even though Lyon were favourites because of what had happened at the Emirates. But the way that you played out there, the result that you got against the record European champions, that particularly when you look at coming up against a Barcelona side who have swept all before them in Europe in recent years, it's not verging on the impossible. I think that's too strong. But in terms of what you managed to achieve, particularly in France, how much belief does that give you? Because it's going to have to be a similar level of performance and overcoming similar giantesses in a way.
For sure. Belief is something that we have spoke about a lot as a team this season. And we've also found lots of different ways to win this season, whether it's turning around a result or winning late or scoring early and taking our chances then. So I think it's been a season, like Kim said, full of highs and lows, but also full of lots of learnings. And that result out in Lyon and that performance out there was something that we want to hold with us. We want that to consistently be our standard because we know that we're capable of that, and we know we've got the players and the group around us to do that. So it was special, and it was a result where we needed to perform, and we had no other choice. We wanted to go to the final, and we were so committed to that as a team. And I have full belief going into the game tomorrow. We've been working really hard as a team, and we know what we're capable of, and we'll do our best to go out and play as well as we possibly can as a group.
To follow up on that, Les, if that's all right. All the talk's been about belief, it's been about resilience, it's been about the comebacks. Do you think you're kind of being written off, and the fact that you are a very, very good football team that's here on merit, and you're kind of not being talked about or respected enough going into this?
Yeah, I also believe we are a very good football team. And the way that we play and the way that we win games is something that, as a player, you want to be in teams like that. We play some great football. So, maybe there's a little bit of that, but not internally. Internally, we know how good we are. We know the style that we want to play and that we commit to play every day in training. So, internally, we're good. We're working hard. And we'll hopefully go out and do that tomorrow too.
Hi guys, Tom Gary from The Guardian newspaper. Could I ask a question for Kim, please? I'm just wanting to ask a bit more about the comebacks that you've had this season. not just against Real Madrid and Lyon, but also in the groups, like the way you resurged back in the group stage. What do you think that's been down to? What's the mentality and the secrets in the dressing room that have helped drive those comebacks on when you've looked like you're down and gone?
Yeah, no, go back to it. Yeah, the connection and belief we have within each other, that we know even when we're maybe not quite at the top level or the level we should be at, that we know we can get there and we can pull ourselves into that. And I think that's the thing of any great team. You know, you can't play at the top of your game at every second, but I think what makes us such a great team is when we've been in those moments when we haven't been, we can take ourselves out of them quite quickly and in the moment, and within games as well. And I think, yeah, that's a really good trait to have, and I think we've shown that on many occasions.
Hi, Sara Gutierrez from the Spanish National Radio. Kim, I would like to ask you about the game that you played, the first one between Barca and Arsenal in 2012. A lot of years have gone, but right now, Alexia Putellas and you are the only survivors. Have you thought about that game and how has your life changed during those years? Thank you.
No, I've not thought about it too much, and the length of time obviously since then. But yeah, it's obviously incredible for me to be at a club still, having played that kind of game against opposition we'll obviously play tomorrow. And yeah, it was obviously, we came out on top in those games. I don't have many memories from the game, but I know my friend Jenny scored, and I think I scored in one of them as well. So yeah, obviously special memories to be in the Champions League then, and you know, I hope to create more memories like that tomorrow with this club.
Joe Curry, BBC Sport. Question for Kim. Kim is someone who's been at Arsenal on and off approximately for about 100 years. You would have played with many of the players from the 2007 team. How does this current team compare to them and all the teams that have gone before? Where does this one rank where you are now?
Obviously the game's changed quite drastically in that time, not quite 100 years, but yeah, it's obviously the game's so different now, the level of professionalism now compared to what the players had in 2007 is just on a completely different level. So for them to have done that and to perform at that level and to have won the Youth Cup then, you know, is obviously incredibly special. And I think this past week we've had some of those players come in and have lunch with us. So I obviously know them personally, but maybe some of the other players who haven't been at the club as long, you got to meet them and interact, and obviously there's just that common thing being Arsenal, and it's a really special thing to see that and to have that. And yeah, even after our win in the semi-final, to see many of the former players and players who won in 2007, how proud they were of us and still supporting us, the team. It's a really nice feeling. It obviously shows the non kind of pitch playing side of football and what that does. And I think we can all speak and say that Arsenal as a club I think is one of the best and one of the most unique in that sense. So that just brings an additional kind of special side to this game and to be a part of this club.
So a question for Renée. When you met Häcken and lost against them at Hisingen, were you thinking that you were going to stand in the WCL final? And you said that Rosa Kafaji isn't available tomorrow. Can you say something more about why she isn't available?
I can't remember what I was thinking back then, because I think we were all thinking we have the home leg and we have to win that game and one step at a time. So I think that's what we were thinking. But if you put everything in perspective, again, going back to the history of the club and then where we come from this season, putting ourselves in a position to play this game tomorrow, there's so much work, and that's us, but it's also all of us, but because it's all the people that have done this over such a long time. So we're so proud that all of us are going to do this tomorrow, and we're going to go all into this challenge, and we look forward to it so much. On Rosa, she has a foot injury.
Yeah. Last one here. In the front.
I heard the news this week that the trophy was stolen. And I also was wondering, what did you think when you heard that news, and were you relieved when they found it back, or how did that go into the team? Like, did you have a WhatsApp conversation about that in a group app, or?
No idea. You had no idea? No. I can tell we've been busy this week, but no, I had no idea. I'm glad it's back now.
On that note, we'll see the trophy tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.